Evening and welcome, my good spectators of style, back to the league. We are bringing you a battle from the Ionia division tonight. It's our second highest division here at Style Esports. It's bedtime at 7 versus Crossflow Blue. Should be an exciting match here tonight. Of course, I am Chris Crewman. Once again on the desk, joining me this evening will be Wee Wizard. Wee Wizard, how are you tonight?
Doing pretty good. We've seen both of these teams battling through the brackets, and they've both been a joy to watch, finally colliding in the playoffs. Bedtime versus X Flow Blue. Before we get into draft, let's just do a quick name check. Who has the best name on either one of these teams? And I know who I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
pick. We were talking about it a little bit before, but Nico Montoya's V3. What a name!
It's quality
Although,
reference. No doubt about it.
Exactly. And, close second, your gynecologist and Kanye for president. So, bedtime, they get the top three slots, I gotta say, pretty handedly.
Yeah.
But, X Flow, they do have the synergy. They all have XFW in front of their names.
That's true.
So they
Presenting the united front over there from the red side.
they
Is
have the
a bit intimidating
clan
to be.
tag bonus.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how that works. But Wee Wizard, there is more at stake tonight than just who has the best summoner name. Of course, the winner of tonight's best of 3 will go on and secure a position in the top 4, the final 4 of this division. Loser tonight goes home with nothing. This is an elimination best of 3, so a lot on the line here for both of these teams. We are already into the champion select phase. Vayne and Talon removed so far, a couple of aggressive AD options here. Are you expecting any specific bans or maybe something to get first picked here for bedtime at 7 if it's left up to your Wee Wizard? How do you think this one's going to go?
Well, yeah, it's definitely not a surprise to see this Talon banned out. We see Rejected One plays it quite a bit in solo queue. And on... Oh, wait, sorry, they're the ones that banned Talon. Oh, that's kind of interesting.
That's right,
yeah. Did I mix up the teams? No, they are red side. So I'm kind of surprised they're the ones that banned it out, considering they play it a lot. I would have expected to see like a Vi ban, but Talon and Kane both coming out, and that actually makes sense because SG Wid does play the Talon.
And he definitely does from the side Kane of well.
Yeah, exactly. So, but from the time the bedtime, they're going for the Vayne, Thresh, pretty standard bot lane, and the Tom Kench in the top lane. Not surprising, Tom Kench is does Tom Kench things.
Thresh is a
kill in the free lane.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Kench is just pretty strong right now in general, pretty obnoxious to play against. The Thresh, of course, was a comfort pick for Koyash, so definitely understand removing that one from the pool as well. But from Crossflow Blue, they're really heavily focusing the jungle here. It seemed to me when I was looking at the OP.GG that SG Wid, he has a pretty decently sized champion pool. There are still other things he could go towards, but I guess maybe they just really don't want to see him on one of those AD carry threats from the jungle.
I mean, this guy has 28 games on Viego with a 71% win rate. So I would not be surprised if we see Viego picked up from that time over here. But Victor, first pick, not a huge surprise. Victor, very strong in the new meta with the items and, of course, the arcane buff from the TV show. But X-Flow picking up the Cassidon and the Trundle. So Trundle probably going jungle, could also be a top lane flex. But having that, early presence on the Trundle in either of those lanes can be a very significant threat for Aquaflow.
Wee Wizard, I kind of want to get your take on this. I'm very intrigued by the fact that bedtime at 7 has kind of locked in their mid laner with their first pick. Looks like they're going to go for their top laner here as well. But, I mean, traditionally, you want to try and save your solo lane picks for a little bit later on in the draft to see if you can get some kind of favorable lane matchup or at least some kind of advantage 2v2 situation. But they're just going straight for the solo lanes here. Why do you think that is?
And I definitely agree, right? Usually you see top lane and mid lane picked up relatively late in the order. And the only reason you would want to do it so early is just to lock in a influential pick that is, safe and not able to be countered super effectively. For example, Victor, extremely strong in the meta, priority pick, very strong B1 pick in my opinion. And not only that, but it's pretty hard to counter Victor, especially once he gets his crown. he can be really hard to shut down if he gets a lead going. So they do have the Caston pick, which, to be fair, can have, has the scaling aspect that outscales Victor, and also has some more, I would say, consistent damage potential as well as the burst potential, while Victor maybe a little bit lower on the damage if he doesn't get such a big lead. The Ornn is a little bit interesting just because it is blind, but Ornn is fine. He's a safe top lane pick, and the Yuumi is the cat. I don't know if I like it or not, but we'll see if Bedtime can pull it off. I mean, if they can do it in Worlds, I'm sure we can see it here.
Yeah, it doesn't synergize exceptionally well with the Forge God or the Master of Machines, but the cat is just kind of strong. I'm sure they'll find some way to make it work here. Most likely, the Ornn pick is for our boy Inigo Montoya up there in the top lane. Definitely an interesting one to point out there. I know both of these top laners are very well versed in their tanks, so I expect some kind of tanky option for read and write here for Crossflow as well. But unless it's the Trundle, he has yet to lock in. But we have finished up the second phase of bans here, guys. So support focus from Bedtime. They banned out the Blitzcrank and the Rakan. And Volibear and Ezreal removed by Aquaflow. Zyra locked in here, going to be paired up with Caitlyn. Nasty lane here.
Can you think of a more disgusting lane than Caitlyn Zyra? I'm going to have trouble. That lane is just ridiculous. But yeah, they definitely want to get rid of some of the engage options from Aquaflow, which could really counter the Yuumi pickup. Blitz and Rakan obviously being some of the best engager supports in the meta, both played by Koyesh. So really great that they're taking that out, as well as having the Thresh already locked away. And the Nocturne jungle picked up by Bedtime. Maybe we'll be seeing some Axiom Arc gaming. If you can't ult twice in 30 seconds, what's the point of playing Nocturne? And we were talking about this top lane, right? Picking out the Ornn so early, I would not be surprised if the Trundle was flexed up there. Just because once Trundle gets the Divine Sunderer, it can be such a tough lane for any tank opponent, especially when you have the Trundle ultimate. You just take away all their tank stats, you take away their HP, and you're so tanky, and you have so much damage with Divine Sunderer that it's really, really tough to win that lane. But then again, you're Ornn. You don't need to win lane. You just gotta get your XP level up, level 13, bring it back up, and you're churning out 1k gold upgrades to your team. But it's gonna actually begin a set top, which fair play, still counters the tanks, right? If you can, ult an Ornn into their team, bye bye Ashe. It's gonna be poof.
Yeah, Victor too. If he
has the crown, right? He'll survive. At least until Kassadin jumps on.
It hasn't been procced yet. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. That is true. It's a good point.
That is the downside to Aquaflow's team comp, right? They are, I would say, relatively low ranged to proc the crown. I guess you do have, Caitlyn autos, but if Victor's positioning correctly, Caitlyn is not going to be able to, getting up in close. And Kassadin is going to have a tough time taking down that backside.
Yeah, definitely the case. There's seems to be a lot of scaling locked in here for both sides. We have Victor Ornn Yuumi versus Kassadin, which is kind of just like a scaling win condition.
You don't even need 3 to counter. You just need Kassadin.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, am I wrong?
When you think about scaling, right? You think, okay, Ornn is arguably the best scaling tank in the game, just because it was passive, right? He gets so much bonus stats once he gets to level 17. But then you realize that Aquaflow have a Trundle, and Trundle, presses R on Ornn, and suddenly Trundle is the tankiest guy on the map, right? So you really got to be careful. You can't really play around it, right? It's a point and click, but you just gotta, be aware of that when you're going for an engage. Like, Trundle is going to be so tanky, you have to maybe kite back or just go on the offense into Aquaflow's black line with the Nocturne, right? Especially if you have Nocturne Yuumi on the back line, that can be absolutely killer with a Call of the Forge God from Ornn. That being said, we didn't talk about this bot lane matchup since we didn't see the Ashe locked in until just recently. Ashe Yuumi versus Caitlyn Zyra. It's I think it's gonna be rough for Bedtime in this bot lane. but I think they have the like obviously you're gonna lose lane, right? It's you can't you can't win lane against Caitlyn Zyra unless you're I mean you pick Yumi, right? You're gonna lose lane. So all we have to see from bedtime is can they lose lane gracefully, right? Can you lose without feeding or just giving away random kills? And can you set up a potential gank opportunity from Nocturne to get a kill since Aquaflow is going to be pushing in very heavily?
Yeah, definitely an interesting discussion. Caitlyn Zyra, like you were saying there, Wizard is notoriously impressive in lane. But on the bright side here, we were talking about the potential dive in here. When the fights break out with Set and Trundle starting to beat up on their front line, there is actually a lot of fight back potential on Caitlyn. I have the Ashe for slows as well as the Yumi ultimate there and the Victor gravity field, so they should have a decent number of disengage options if they find themselves in a fight that is not really looking like it's going to be in their favor.
Yeah, and I definitely think we need to be watching this this Nocturne from the side of bedtime because Aquaflow, very, very low peel, right? And that's just the trade-off of going with the Zyra support instead of something that has a little bit more appeal, right? Zyra is one of those like quote unquote supports, right? Like, oh, I have most damage in the game. Whoops, I'm just a support, guys. But like you're kind of letting your Caitlyn out to dry, right? Because Trundle, right. No peel. Set, really no peel, right? Both Trundle and Set want to be engaging, fighting the frontline backline of bedtime. So we're really gonna have to wait and just see sort of how bedtime decides to play this because this backline is weak, right? Xflow, they do have sort of a weak backline with Caitlyn Zyra, but on the other hand, Aquaflow has a really strong offensive as well, right? With the Kassadin dive and the Trundle. So it really depends on how the game is shaping up in terms of leads, right? Are you allowed to dive in, or are you just going to lose the fight on your side of the map because you did so with the Nocturne, right? And overall, I think these comps are just so interesting because they both have early game, they both have mid game, and they both have late game. And I do think Aquaflow have the stronger early game, so we'll have to see can they get those plates bottom side? Can they maybe double scuttle with the top lane, bot lane prio that the Set and the Caitlyn are going to have? Can you enable your Kassadin to scale it to 16 without falling behind? And bedtime, I think they really peak in the mid game, right before Kassadin hits his spike, right before Victor starts to fall off compared to Kassadin, and Ashe Yumi starts to fall off compared to the Zyra, and bedtime maybe on a clock to finish out the game before Aquaflow hits their stride.
Yeah, once bedtime does get to like the late game, I feel like all of their eggs are basically in the Victor basket in terms of just like damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree. I think it will get much more difficult for them if we go really late here. You see Trundle and Set start to get really, really tanky there. Once Kassadin, of course, it does hit his level 16. Then yeah, I think it would be really difficult for bedtime, and it's an interesting discussion as well because I also agree with your point about how the side of Crossflow, they have a slightly better early game, so I feel like they're a little bit more likely to find an advantage early on here, and that could enable them, even if that advantage doesn't allow them to like land a death blow, like actually close out the game, that should at least enable them to reach that later point where they should be favored as well.
Yeah, and going back to this Nocturne point, I just want to point out how brutally this Nocturne falls off, right? Because what is Nocturne's gameplay, right? He has to kill a threat, ideally with his paranoia, right? And utilizing the nearsightedness to do so with relatively safety. Maybe Yumi's on him to provide some healing and utility. But what happens late game? Zyra has Hourglass, Kassadin has Hourglass, Caitlyn has GA. What are you gonna do? You're gonna ult Set and Trundle? No, like if you're Nocturne, you have to close out the game before all these defensive items are finished from the side of Xflow. And if that doesn't happen, suddenly you as Nocturne don't really have a game plan, because if you ult onto the backline and they Hourglass, all of a sudden you're in a tight spot, you get turned on, and unless your team is there with you, you're just gonna die, and then Yumi's gonna die, and it's just a tragedy.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely happy to talk about Nocturne here. I'm actually a little bit of a Nocturne player myself. I play a fair amount of
Oh,
Nocturne
okay.
jungle.
Provide this the inside scoop. Inside scoop.
Yeah, well, I definitely think, you have a fair point there about the GAs and the Zhonya's coming online later, making the Nocturne's life more difficult. That is definitely the case. I still think even a Zyra with Zhonya is a better target than a Trundle or a Set, just in general. That's what I would go for.
Yeah.
But really,
it's just a meme. Just a meme.
yeah, I mean, it is an annoying thing that SG Wid is going to have to deal with here for sure. But really, the most interesting thing about Nocturne for me right now, at least, is the build. Because since the preseason started for the new season, I've seen in the shop recommended, and I've seen a couple of other Nocturnes in my games have kind of gone back towards the lethality. I mean, you already mentioned the Axiom Arc there, that new item that they introduced that, reduces your ultimate cooldown. That's obviously extremely strong on Nocturne. And I've seen some players just kind of go back to like these full lethality builds to just try and kind of all in on that playstyle. Personally, I am still much more a fan of the Stridebreaker Sterax, and then maybe like Axiom Arc 3rd is kind of like what I usually do. So I'm definitely interested to see what SG Wid decides to go for this game. I do think the full lethality build could be a little bit risky into this Set and Trundle frontline.
Yeah, I think that's definitely good analysis. How you might need some of that hankiness from the Stridebreaker Sterax that you just wouldn't get from full lethality, especially if these defensive items are going to be built eventually. If the game doesn't end before then, you're really going to wish you had Sterax. And overall, if I had to choose a team, I would say I think X-Flow's favor, just because they have the early advantage and they have the late game advantage. And if they utilize their early game advantage properly, it'll allow them to smoothly transition into a mid game where hopefully they have a lead, right, which will offset their power troughs, and then they can sort of coast over the finish line into their late game power spikes.
All right, guys. Well, WeWizard likes Crossflow's composition. It is, of course, best of 3 tonight, but so much can be gained from winning that first game, getting that momentum online. So both of these teams are going to be hungry for it here tonight. We're going to be starting game 1 in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, on to Summoner's Rift for game number 1 here. Bedtime at 7 on the blue side and Crossflow on the red. We got a pretty conservative 5-point start from both of these squads. I think that's pretty much par for the course for these compositions, right, Wee Wizard?
Yep, and I do want to point out that Yumi just got a Mana Flow Band stack, so that's basically GG. Bedtime 1. Go next. But that being said, Set taking a really aggressive position in that bush. If he had stayed and Ornn went the wrong path, that could have been game over for Ornn, but luckily for him, he's going the safe path. And actually, both junglers are starting top side of the map. They're both being cheeky,
Very interesting.
saying, haha, I'm going to start top side, but they're actually going to the same place. Little do they know. And that's going to allow Caitlyn and Zyra to be a pretty aggressive bot lane. And just looking at the runes. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it looks like both bot lanes are faking the leash here, so a little bit of mind games happening down there already.
Yeah, and with that ward, they are going to be spotted. So pretty good fake leash. Usually they are a bit not as optimal with that. But looking at these runes, we do see some interesting stuff. We do see Pite on Trundle, which we noted doesn't scale as well. They trade in the top lane. Oh my
That
lord.
is Inigo Montoya. Taking a lot of damage.
That's just set things. You can't. You're not allowed to lock up. Silly one. We also noted the electrocute on the Kassadin, extremely aggressive rather than more safety, fleet footwork. And oh my god, is he just
Inigo,
dead?
No, the flash in, read and right, punches Ornn right in the butt. First blood for the set up there in top lane. Great start for Crossflow.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta respect the set, especially when he gets level 2 first. You know what's gonna happen. You gotta play back. And that could be the start of X-Flow's spiral. We mentioned they're good they're really strong in the early game, especially the set versus the Ornn. And that is a good omen, if any, for X-Flow fans.
Oh, now Ukio's in some trouble as well. He's burning the flash, but here comes the pillar. The Ignite getting dropped as well. Ukio's going down, and it's Kassadin that is going to get the kill, but he did take a tower shot on the way out there and will trade himself back. So both mids 1-1 now. And no teleport for either one. Yeah, he does.
I just noticed he has heal. That's that's interesting. I don't know if that was intentional, if that's secret meta. But just look at the poke coming down in this bot lane. This is exactly what we expected from the side of Caitlyn Zyra.
Oh, that's the root. Gynecologist taking a lot of damage, forced to burn the heal. SG Wid down here now is going to get the fear down onto Prey, and Caitlyn is looking like she's going down here. Gynecologist picks it up with the volley. Reed and Ray continuing to shove in this top side, but a nice gank from the Nocturne down there on that bot lane.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
He's finding Trundle in the river here, but boost. The Kassadin is collapsing from mid. Rejection one getting extremely low here. Actually, Kassadin turned back around. Now Trundle flashing over the wall. He's in a lot of trouble here. Gravity Field comes down, and that is enough to get the kill for Wid. Nocturne picks up another one here.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, the fact that Caitlyn and Zyra are from a pushing like that gives SG Wid such a good lane to gank. And I'm glad that he recognized it, going for that pretty much free bot lane gank. Although no sums were used, you pick up the kill onto Ashe, and Set. Just use the W, he's in trouble.
Some CC coming down onto the Set. SG Wid going for the 2v1 play up here in top lane. Read it and right is feared up, and he's taken out. First death of the game for the Crossflow top laner, and another good look from Wid here on the Nocturne.
Yeah, and this is something that you don't see a lot of, and I wish I saw it more in my solo queue games. Hint, hint. Take notes. Wid ganking the Set, right? Set is a completely immobile top laner. The only mobility he has is with his showstopper at level 6 if he ults the jungler back towards the turret. You saw Set flash towards the Ornn to get the first... Uh-oh. Yumi. Okay. You saw Set flash forward to get the kill, right? And that means he has no flash, no mobility. Nocturne gets a free kill topside. That is perfect jungle awareness and communication from the side of Bedtime, abusing the Set, pushing forward with no flash. Trundle wasn't anywhere there. Actually, Trundle's taking the dragon right now, I just noticed. He's trying to sneak that away.
Trundle is pretty good at that.
And, that's a 2-0 Nocturne, and, he's level 5, a level up on this Trundle.
Ooh, Ashe getting rooted up here. Oh, one auto attack. Gynecologist Kanye now is looking very, very low HP. He will stay alive.
The Yumi technology. She blocked it for the Ashe. That was incredible.
Yeah, some good Yumi mechanics there, unironically. Those were some Yumi mechanics on display there from Kanye.
Oh,
As Ukyo
wait,
is
that was
in a
a
lot of
sussy
trouble.
pause.
It is a little sussy. I mean, even
Are
if
they
it was
allowed to pause
Ukyo
it
that
then?
paused it, I don't
I
think
mean,
it's
I
going
think
to
he's
save
dead.
him as he is going down here. For sure, Rejected One picks up his first kill on the Trundle. And
yeah, I was gonna say try and give it over to the Kassadin, but maybe you just want to secure it.
Yeah, I mean, Victor was almost underneath the tower there, so you don't want to give him any chance to get away. You just gotta finish him off there as quickly as possible. And just your standard pause, yeah, standard spectator bug after pauses. This should resolve itself shortly. But I really like what you were saying there, actually, about the Nocturne into the set specifically. A lot of sets of dueling power and his threat in the early game actually is from his spells, from his Haymaker and his Facebreaker, the CC that he gets from the E and the big shield from the W. That's, the main reason why he's so oppressive in those first few levels. But Nocturne actually has some great counterplay for that because he has the spell shield to block one of those abilities. And he also has the fear to even deny those auto attacks, once the fear tether completes. So Nocturne in general is actually surprisingly good against Set, who's usually so good against those melee opponents.
Oh, Trundle, watch! I mean, Orin, watch out! There's a troll in your
Rejected One now is looking for a revenge gank. A little bit of payback onto the enemy top laner here. The Forge God will not get to headbutt his Ram as he gets slam dunked into the dirt by the showstopper from Read and Write. And Trundle, Rejected One, has been able to turn this top lane back around. Ukyo in mid lane, running out of HP. He's ignited. Boost is looking for this solo kill. The gravity field comes down, but it's too little. It's too late. And Boost finds the solo kill onto the enemy Victor at level 6.
Yeah, and this is not a great omen if your level 7 Kassadin is able to kill your Victor like that. I mean, obviously, if you're at the side of Exo, it's a good omen, right? Obviously, it's depending on which team you're on, but it is it's telling, right? I mean, he's got the Dark Seal, he's got the tier, he's stacking it, especially. Oh my God,
he's feeling himself.
The Seraph's buffs this patch. I don't know if you're aware. They reduced it by like 500 gold.
Insane
like what?
Buff. Yeah,
what are you
I don't
doing?
know where that came from.
Like, oh my gosh,
that is a great call out there.
Buff.
Oh, Wid in some trouble here. Oh, that was a little bit too aggressive there from Wid. He did not have the priority to make that invade happen, and he gets very heavily punished for it.
I mean, I would say that's like, I would say heavy punish is like undersaying it. You just gave Kassadin a free blue buff, a free kill, 2 Dark Seal stacks. Like, this is a tragedy of the highest proportions. Look, your Victor's dead because of this.
Ukyo is like, oh, well,
He's dead, right?
I think he is, yeah. He even flashed! But the Kassadin did flash as well, and he will go down to the tower. So that is actually a shutdown going into Victor's pocket, which he is going to be decently happy about.
Yeah, that's not the greatest trade. Shut down your Dark Seal stack. A bit iffy. And I believe the wave is in...
that's the Tangle Thorns coming down. The Thorns embrace, and that is the cat getting shot in the head. Frey with a little bit of animal abuse down here in bot lane, and now it's going to be a little bit of Ashe abuse. His gynecologist is taking a pillar, and there's the Peacemaker straight to the dome as Frey picks up number 2.
Arrow?
Had it. Didn't use it.
If she used it, I feel like maybe it could have. I don't know. Maybe that's just caster hindsight bias, but I thought maybe that the turret shots combined with the stun would have been enough, but who knows? Either way, not good from the side of this, Ashe Yumi. It's just, it's not great, right? You can't be giving over these free early kills. As we said, X-Flow, they need these kills to sustain themselves into the mid game, and especially when you have a Kassadin that has 4 kills, right? I mean, there's sustaining yourself into the mid game, and there's also having a fed Kassadin on your team. So
in the mid game,
there's quite a bit of a difference.
Yeah, seriously. Call Forge God coming down. 2v2 breaking out in the river. Ukyo roaming up from the mid lane. 3v3 now as Kassadin gets knocked into the air. He's getting extremely low, and he's taken out. First casualty of the fight is Boost on the Kassadin. Could spell bad things for Crossbow. There's the showstopper into the back line, though. Read and Write able to get one back. Now Inigo Montoya is preparing himself to die. He's getting chomped.
Wait, what?
He flashes over the wall and charges away. He's out of there. Some fancy footwork there from Montoya, able to get himself out of there.
I wish we had a replay to see that from Expo's vision perspective, because that was pretty great. That was pretty fantastic. That flash. They had no clue where he was. And it's like he didn't flash into, he didn't do the bush flash. He did a random, you know, just over some random wall to see what would happen.
Gets the knock up into the wall here. I don't think he took a tower shot there. No, yeah, almost close, just out of range. Nocturne has the paranoia. He is looking for an angle here, going in onto the Caitlyn. Here comes the Lost Chapter as well. Fear is going to connect, and the Ignite is good for the kill. Yumi picks it up. Now Gynecologist, though, forced to flash away. That was a lot of damage coming out from Trundle in a very short amount of time. Nocturne just got eaten alive there.
Yep, I mean, he has full Divine Sunderer. Only other Mythic on the board is Victor's Liandry's, which, to be fair, he got it ahead of the Kassadin. He does have a small 20 CS difference. Yeah, and boots and upgraded boots.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
I mean, Kassadin is, well, actually, he's a little behind, but he's not. He's obviously taking all these detours, so it is expected.
He's down CS, yeah.
Yeah.
Gravity Field is used here. Boost is looking for some damage. Diving underneath the tower once again. Oh, Boost, no! Just gave over a freebie to Ukyo. Goodbye, Dark Steel Stacks.
Oof.
Read and right. Gonna find the Face Breaker. Gets a stun onto Montoya, but he's still got a lot of HP to work with. Oh, a very nice spell shield there. Wid able to cleanly execute Caitlyn there. Zyra, there was nothing she could do. There's that Zyra support that you were talking about a little bit in that Champ Select there. We Wizard as Read and Right going underneath the tower here for the dive. Showstopper underneath has the gets the true damage onto the Ornn, and Nigo goes down.
That's like that tower's. Oh no. I was gonna say the turret's gone, but Nocturne's there to save it. Oh no, he backstepped himself. And there was something I wanted to say. I don't remember. Oh my god, yeah. Did you see that Nocturne Eclipse auto attack? Oh my god, it did like half of Caitlyn's HP. That was disgusting.
Yeah, the lethality Nocturne is popular again.
Oh.
Ash,
yeah. So I mean. The Eclipse, yeah, lethality, definitely. I'm not sure if he would have preferred the utility of the Stridebreaker, but we'll see how the Eclipse turns out.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. It definitely will not be as good late game, but it feels very strong right now. Ukyo getting knocked up a little bit by the pillar, but he's gonna dodge away from the thorns.
Ash has Gutsblade.
That's yeah, she does. That is a little bit odd. I mean, I think the Marksman Mythics aren't like amazing on Ash, but Duskblade doesn't. I don't know if I really buy it.
It's interesting. Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow does hit.
Crystal Arrow is going to connect straight onto the Caitlyn there, and the laser, a lot of damage. Oh, the Forge God just barely goes wide right there. Montoya couldn't quite find it. And Prey will live to see another day.
Yep. Oh, and just another thing. It is the Chemtech Drake. I hate this Drake.
The
I don't hate the Drake.
Soul.
I hate the Soul. I hate it.
They did nerf it a little bit on this patch, but it still feels really bad to play against.
It's not a hot take. The Soul sucks. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Like, the Soul sucks. The map sucks. Riot, please.
Riot sucks.
Oh, but like,
sucks.
It's just look.
Ukyo is like, this sucks. I'm getting chomped by a Trundle. Oh, here comes Nocturne, though. The paranoia is coming down, and Trundle is going down with it. SG Wid helping to protect his mid laner there. Very nice cover from the Bedtime Jungler.
Yeah, and I mean, the Drake is just so, or the zones, I would say, they're so polarizing. If you're ahead, it's so much easier to stay ahead, and when you're behind, it can make the game almost unplayable. So I think X-Flow, if they're able to command vision control of these zones, they already have a 2 Drake lead. They can just command this map. You have the Kassadin, you have the 4-in-1 set. Oh my god.
For sure. Oh, the Ornn used his Bellows Breath already. He's going to get Showstoppered back into the minion wave here. Forced to burn the flash. Montoya once again losing out in that exchange. Oh, Gynecologist. That's not a 1v1 that you win, my friend. Ash going to get executed
not
underneath
at all.
the tower here. Boost making it look easy. And Nocturne and Victor are collapsing down here. The Kassadin may get cleaned up in the end. We're looking at a 1v1 in top lane right now, but I think this is really what we want to see, is Boosted getting taken out, his comeuppance, as it were, for that kill onto the Ashe. Good collapse from the rest of Bedtime, but it did cost them that mid-tier 1 here, Wizard.
Yeah, definitely. And that is a tier 1 you want to take, especially with this Dragon Soul set finishing up this last tier 1 turret for the side of X-Flow. They have a very commanding turret lead, obviously, 3-0, right? So that means that Bedtime are going to have a really hard time passing their tier 2 line, while X-Flow can push up all the way into those Chemtech zones and command the map, as we were talking about earlier. That being said, we do have objective bounties up for Bedtime. If they take any turrets, any dragons, Rift Herald, or Baron, they get a big gold bounty. Can we see how much it is from the spectator client? I don't think so.
Well, it is a river control currently held by Bedtime, but it looks like they're getting pushed out now. They see the set coming in here, and you just cannot really mess with Reedon right at this point in the game. He's so strong, level 11 on the set. Rejected one as well here on the Trundle. The front line for Crossflow is just very, very intimidating right now. And we do see this. This will be Chemtech's sole point for Crossflow. That's an enchanted Crossflow arrow connecting. Nocturne diving onto the bat line. Looking for that kill onto the kill, and he is going to be able to find it. Prey goes down. Zyre also extremely low. Set trying to feel for the rest of the team, but he's not going to be able to do it. It's a murder. It's a slaughter for the side of Bedtime. They're able to take control here in the river. Rejected one getting pushed out. He still has his mid laner, but I don't think they can realistically contest this objective anymore. They're still hanging around. Rejected one wants to try and make something happen here. He's going to get CC'd up here. The volley is able to finish him off. Gynecologist picks it up, and Rejected one just sticking around a little bit too long.
And, you know, oh my, Victor, what was that damage in that fight? I mean, Victor just absolutely running haymaker with his Chaos Storm and, you know, Nocturne ulting the Caitlyn. Bye-bye, Caitlyn. You went Gale Force,
nice
not Shield Bow, so you just
he
get
still has
off.
the Rift Walk. He's out of there. Sorry to interrupt you.
I mean, no. Action comes first. And, yeah, I think the Gale Force on Caitlyn, questionable, because, you know, Gale Force isn't going to save you from the Nocturne, right? His Fear Tether is longer than Gale Force. You can't Gale Force during his ult when he's ulting onto you. I really think Shield Bow was the play, potentially.
Cleanse forced out there from Prey. That's another long range arrow from Gynecologist. He is really on point with those today.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like about playing these champs with long range ultimates, like resetting red buff, like Jinx or Ashe. Just being able to shoot these ults all over the place at will is just it's fun, you know.
Yeah, and it can be pretty powerful when you hit them, which Gynecologist is, of course, doing so far. Montoya going to press forward here into the enemy jungle, and he is going to find some plants that are not very friendly. And we'll kind of back away from that one. Here comes the Paranoia. Caitlyn in trouble once again here. Cannot get away. There's what you were talking about there. Wizard Gale Force will not save you.
Nice Gale Force.
Yeah, didn't really do much, as now Wid may be in some trouble. Trundle trying to chase down this ghost. The arrow will connect onto the Seppa. Trundle is still on the chase here. He's going to have to turn around as Gynecologist comes in with the ice arrows, slow that troll down.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we do see that the gold is pretty much even. Slight lead to X-Flow, and that's just because of their CS domination in
that
top
gold
lane.
lead was like 4,000 earlier, and now you're right. It's like that even. So,
I mean, look, Victor has a 700 gold bounty, 60 CS lead, 9 kills. He's massive. His Archangels is completed, although he is behind in stacks as the Kassadin. And, I mean, you know, Kassadin decided to go for the Crown of the Shattered Queen, which is a little interesting.
Oh, Gynecologist flashing over the wall. Yep.
Forced the flash.
Had to use it. Did have his, he was paying his ultimate. I guess he had his ult in just a couple of seconds there, but even that, I don't think it would have saved him. I think he still had to flash.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. That was a really nice Trundle pillar. I think
it was.
I'm not sure if it was just a spectator bug or if this happened actually, but it looked like he went through the wall and then he like glitched backwards to the other side of it. So I'm not sure what exactly happened there. If it's just spectator things. But we are reaching the point in the game where Ornn is overtaking the set. in terms of just overall utility, right? Set, like he was 4-0, right? And he did give away a shutdown. So right now he's really just a meatball that's not very meaty because he has the Gore Drinker. He doesn't have Sterak's yet, so he's not. Oh, Yumi, you're dead. Bye bye, Yumi.
You
You
know,
can't be walking alone.
Walking into the
night.
river by yourself is not something you're really allowed to do as Yumi.
Is that just Baron? Maybe? Oh, nope. Bye bye.
Both supports kind of breathing a bit there. As okay, we just watched 3 one-shots in a row. I don't know how I'm supposed to cast that. You guys aren't giving me time to even say what's happening. Wid getting chomped. That one was my fault. It's okay. Call of the Forge God coming out now. Gotta get the knock up onto the Caston. But Boost still has a couple of Rift Walks left in him going forward. Ukyo dropping the gravity field now. Gonna try and dissuade this engage. Rejected one on the retreat now. Go! Gotta get taken out by the laser. It's the laser. Finishes him off there. Arrow! Oh, close. Close.
Guys, Victor is so broken right now. I need to... I'm a top lane main, but I want to just roll swap to mid so I can play Victor.
Victor was first pick for Ukyo this game, and it's working out.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, right? Initially you're like, why did you first pick mid? And then you realize, oh, it's Victor. Victor.
I understand now.
His Archangels isn't even finished, bro, and he's already one-shotting everybody. He's at 290 stags.
Sheesh.
3 items. He's the richest person in this game by far. Look,
and he did not have a good early game either.
He's 5k over Kassadin, and Kassadin was like 4-1.
Yeah, right. Kassadin was dominating that lane.
He was, but the Victor, the CS, the kills, he is back in this game, and he's ready to carry Bedtime all the way across the finish line. This Dragon's coming up in 10 seconds. Will Bedtime get it, or will X-Flow get the soul point? Keep an eye on his Victor. And his Nocturne, if he dives onto the Caitlyn again. Caitlyn. She can't play the game.
Has not been able to play the game at all. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. This lethality build on the Nocturne is making his life extremely difficult here. And it looks like Crossflow are in position. They have wards in the river here. They have vision control, but they're a little bit worried. They're a little bit hesitant to start up this dragon right now. They know that all of their opponents are alive. They're in the area here. Nocturne, we see him off on the flank down there. He's going to look for that engage. Arrow goes wide. Here comes Call of the Forge God. Paranoia into the back line. Caitlyn. Oh, she almost got one shot again. Trundle will go down to the Chaos Storm. Caitlyn managed to stay alive off on the back line. Get the kill onto Wid on the Nocturne there. No jungler for Bedtime, but they're still able to zone the rest of these Crossflow members out of the river here. Don't think they're really going to be able to get into contest. No smite for either team. Boost flying in here with the Riftwalk. He's trying to make something happen. The Caston, he's not able to do it. He goes down, and the Dragon will go over to Bedtime here as well. Are they going to be able to turn towards Baron, Wee Wizard?
Probably not. I mean, they're so low HP. Nocturne's dead for another 10 seconds. I think you just give this one. Push waves, get a reset on. Yeah, take jungle camps while you're at it. Why not? But oh my gosh, it's so perfect. Okay, it's just absolutely amazing. And who did he upgrade? Oh, okay. So Orange just reached level 13 and upgraded himself. Victor.
Ooh, that's a root coming down. Ukyo in some trouble here, but here comes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, trying to peel for the rest of the team. Montoya flashing out now, but the Subjugate will finish him off as Trundle drains away that last bit of life force.
And this may be a Baron angle from Exel, actually, but what I was saying about that Dragon fight was, it was played so perfectly by Bedtime, right? You have the Orange frontlining for the Victor, the Nocturne dives onto the Caitlyn. Expo has to turn. If Caitlyn dies, you're screwed. Yumi's dead again. What is happening?
Yeah, she is. That's fine.
That's Baron for sure. for sure. Yumi's dead. Orange's dead. You can just take this Baron. You got to be a little careful, but
yeah,
I mean,
Nocturne potentially get in there.
I mean, you do have 5v3. Ashero's coming in. What's going to happen?
Yeah, he could steal, though. The Nocturne could still steal. That was an arrow connecting onto the set. And you see Ukyo down here off on the bottom side of the fight in his own jungle, trying and put down a little bit of pressure here. I don't know if they know that Nocturne is here. Nocturne dives in, gets the kill on to Prey, has the spell shield, but he's getting dunked out now. He gets a double kill, actually. Wid on the Nocturne. It's a clean-up fight for Bedtime. The jungler does go down, but they're able to take out Caston here as well. And Bedtime says, thank you very much for the leash. We'll take that Baron, and we're going to try and close this one out.
Oh no! And now Victor has the upgraded Leandre's Lament. He is. Oh my god! Oh, it gives him more mana too for the Seraphs. I didn't actually realize. That's so cool. He has Rabadons.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is the point where I try to say how Expo can get back into the game, but it is just so. Okay, look at the gold
Another
difference.
arrow.
It says 5 to 6K, right? And then you realize it doesn't actually account for the Ornn items. So now you have to add 1K, 2K, soon to be 3K once Ornn gets his next upgrade.
Wow.
And you remember when Bedtime was so far behind, they had objective bounties? Well, no longer.
No longer.
Now they are commanding in the lead. It is just ridiculous gold lead at this point. 2 dragons, from 2 to 0, now 2 to 2 in dragons. So Bedtime, I think they've completely turned this game around. And with Yuumi on this Victor, it is going to be so tough.
And remember, Wizard, this is exactly how we laid it out in Champ Select.
Yeah, it's mid-game, guys. It's mid-game.
Yeah.
Kassadin's still level 13.
Yeah, he hasn't hit a spike yet.
Though.
So this is the time for Bedtime. They've got to try and press this advantage. They're doing a great job of it. They're going to find Rejected One in his own jungle, and they're just going to take him out there. Add numbers in the area, but Gynecologist now. Flashes over the wall, stays alive, and Boost fails his Rift Walk. He can't finish the kill. Not sure able to pick that one up with the Paranoia. Read and right now, they're trying to make a power play for crossflow up here in top lane, but Ornn is just going to hold it down with Baron buff.
Oh my!
Can't outpush Baron. Decided Bedtime is playing on 2 lanes here. They're gonna try and go for the stacks, and Vigo Montoya is gonna go for the stopping the resets. Caitlyn looks like she's gonna be able to get it off.
Oh, what was?
Nope, she was forced to stop it there. Gynecologist is back here now as well. Will they be able to chase down even an extra kill? It will.
Actually.
There's the showstopper going in. Ash maybe in some trouble here. There's the showstopper, or the haymaker, excuse me. Read and right gets a lot of damage out. Gynecologist. They're going to kill each other. Set gets off one more punch at the last possible second. And Read and Right will trade it back. Ukyo level 16 now on the Victor. He's 3 levels on boost, and he just zaps him in the face with a laser. Ukyo now running forward with the cat strapped to his back. He's looking for these Nexus turrets next, and he's looking to take his squad to game 2 with a victory.
Yep, and with an over 100 CS gold lead in the mid lane, I would say this Victor...
Wade is in some trouble, gonna get picked up by the Stranglethorns here. Now a flash and Rejected One, trying to hold the line at the Nexus Towers here, but the Victor is just too strong. Ukyo with the Yuumi, he's too fast, he has too much damage. Trundle gets zapped, and Koyash is running for the hills.
It is just gross. No!
What are you doing? He just needs another laser. Oh, I think Ukyo's running out of mana. He doesn't have many more lasers left in him. The boost is on the chase now. There's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Is going to help peel a little bit, but it doesn't connect onto the Kassadin. Going golden now is Ukyo on the victory. He's level 17 now.
No,
goes a little bit wide there. Boost still on the chase. He still has another Rift Walk. He's going to find it. Maxed out shutdown for the Kassadin. Boost takes over to 14. Maybe Crossflow still have a chance. They're going to get a kill onto the Loot Pinata here as well. Read and Right going for the Haymaker, but his mid laner is backing away. He's trying to flash. He's trying to get into that stealth zone, but Inigo Montoya is flashed in, and he says, now, it is your time to die. And he helps his AD carry pick up the kill. Dragon number 5 on the Rift now. Wizard. It looks like it's going to be going into the hands of Bedtime, and they are back in control.
Yep, I mean, if you're Expo, you really just can't contest. You've got all 3 lanes pushing. The inhibitor survives, so... Yeah, you don't have, at least you don't have the double supers per lane pushing. And you did just get a 1k gold shutdown onto your Kassadin. But, I mean, just look at the gold diff. Victor is 9,000 gold ahead of this Kassadin. That is like 3 full items. Victor's full build, by the way. He's just full build.
Oh, yeah.
He finished his Rabadons, he finished his Shadow Flame, he's got his Mark Treads.
Like, I know he said Kassadin is stronger than Victor in late game, but when Victor is late game and Kassadin is still mid game.
That's assuming the Victor isn't 17 and 6. He just gave away a 1,000 gold shutdown. He still has a 700 gold bounty, bro. He's that far ahead that he's oh my god. I mean, they just push top lane. They get this top lane turret as 5 people. They've got Baron coming up in a minute. You get the triple inhib, you go Baron, just make sure you don't die.
Yeah, the very safe option here for the side of Bedtime. They should be able to close this out very cleanly. They have everything that they need. That's an Enchanted Crystal Arrow that is going to connect. Called the Forge God comes down, going to get the knock up onto the Trundle here. Set eating a lot of damage, throws out the Haymaker, not going to save him. Ukyo picks up another kill. Nocturne flying into the back line there, but he's a little bit too far ahead of the team. He is going to go down, 1 for 1 so far. Who's now in some trouble? The Kassadin just gets annihilated. Orin gets the kill, but make no mistake, the damage came from Victor as Ukyo's splashing onto the Found to pick up some more kills. He's dropping the Chaos Storm, and he is dropping bodies all over the floor. It's going to be Bedtime at 7, picking up a convincing victory here. 30 minutes in game number 1.
Yep, and quite a strong showing from Bedtime. You may win the early game and the late game, but we're going to pounce on you in the mid game. Better be seeing a Victor ban next game, or first pick Victor if X-Flow is blue side, because that champion is just disgusting in the right hands. Oh no, I don't think I can. I'm too late. I wanted to see how much gold he got from first strike, but the game's already over.
Oh yeah, you can't look. Yeah.
Oh, unlucky. But look at damage charts. Oh my god, bro. 3 players on the side of Bedtime out damaged anybody on X-Flow.
Wow.
That's pretty significant. I mean, even the Ornn. I mean, tank in 2021, right? You're not tanky, but at least you deal 22,000 damage in a game.
It is Ornn. Come on, like he's a tank, but he's also an assassin mage bruiser. True. It is Ornn. But yeah, that game felt like it was close for quite a while. But in the mid game, yeah, Bedtime, they just kind of had a couple of fights go really in their favor, and they just blew it open from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I don't want to give the credit solely to Victor, Ukiro on the Victor, just because, we got to give Wid the credit. He played that early game so well. He was ganking bot, ganking top, ganking mid, counter ganking, farming. He was doing everything except dragons. But, it doesn't matter when you're so far ahead that you can just take whatever you want when you please with a 20-kill Victor. Unfortunately, X-Flow going to be behind for the first game, but it doesn't mean they are out. They can still turn this around with a reverse sweep. Game numbers 2 and 3.
That's right, guys. There's still more League of Legends to play tonight. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have game 2 coming at you right after this short break. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for game 2. Our teams are trolling us a little bit. They have already done the champion select, but rest assured, guys, we will still have some time here to talk about what has been selected, and we do still have the order, so we can talk about that as well. But Wizard, let's just kind of get your thoughts heading into game 2 here before we really touch on the champion select. What do you want to see from the side of Crossflow to come back here and give us that 3-game series tonight?
Well, I wanted to see a Victor ban. Like we were talking about, the teams have swapped, so Bedtime actually opted for the Victor ban, just so it wasn't B1 picked by Xflow.
Yeah.
Xflow continuing to ban out Bedtime's jungler, SG Wid, which is not a surprise. I mean, we saw him, very, very strong play on that Nocturne, and they actually left the Kayn up in favor of the Nocturne, and the Kayn was picked up. We'll have to see from SG Wid, was the Kayn ban worthy for game 1? Are they going to regret not banning it for game 2? I mean, the Kayn is so... there's so many options, right? Like, you can go blue, you can go red, you can go, like, these hybrid builds that have been going out.
The purple Kayn,
Yeah, I don't think those are as good as they were before. I think now blue is just his strongest overall, with red being a little bit more niche. But overall, let's take a look at the draft. We've got the same Ornn on Inigo Montoya, and instead of the set, we got the Tahm Kench. So we still have that early lane pressure from the side of Xflow, but it's now a tank versus tank matchup, so not as punishing by ganks. Probably scales a little bit better than the set does. You have a little bit more CC, some more peel with the Devour on one of your carries or on an enemy threat. Taking a look at the rest of the draft, we have a Jinx Leona bot lane for the side of Xflow versus Misfortune Rakan. So Bedtime, no more Yuumi, because it was actually banned, but they did go for the Rakan this time. So you have a little bit of engage, you have a little bit of peel, and Rakan is just such a fun champ. Whenever I play support, I always find myself wanting to play Rel and Rakan, and it's funny that they both start with R, but they're those champs that you just enjoy playing. I think them and Braum,
they're fun.
In the same sort of boat. At least for me, everybody has different opinions. But from the side of Xflow, Jinx Leona, and that is just one of those classic bot lanes that just makes you think like, oh my gosh, I better not let these guys scale for free, because they have CC and they have damage, they have peel. This Jinx can be scary.
Well, I will say, Wizard, it is a very strong lane, and it does scale very well, like you're saying. However, I will say, when you do have a Leona, I prefer to see a pairing with it that can be a little bit more aggressive in the early game. Like,
Absolutely.
Jinx does pair well with Leona, just in terms of, like, you can layer your CC. If Leona lands a stun, you can get the Flame Chompers down there. Jinx has pretty good range, can follow up on Leona as well, but in terms of just, like, early laning, like, levels 2, 3, 4, 5, Jinx doesn't really offer that much. Her damage is pretty low in the early game, really wants to get, like, at least one item under her belt before she can really start to come online and provide that DPS threat. But, we'll see how they can do down there. The side of Bedtime, with that Misfortune Rakan lane, does feel like it may actually even be a little bit stronger early game with the Misfortune there. I'm not sure. What do you think about that?
No, I think you're absolutely correct. When you pick the Leona, I mean, we've all fallen for the level 2 Leona, tower dive, Kawabunga strategy. And as you said, Jinx just really doesn't fit with it completely, right? Jinx, as you said, really doesn't have the sustained damage until she has 1 or 2 items that can abuse the Leona, right? Of course, it's still a good pairing. You have the CC and the peel, but Leona is going to have to either go for roams or just have to, lay back on the aggressiveness in the early game. So I would agree with you that I believe the Misfortune Rakan should have a bit of an early lead, just with the Misfortune poke and the Rakan potential CC that Leona Jinx just can't really follow up on. But we'll see how that lane plays out. Probably going to be in favor of Bedtime, at least in the early game, although they do have to be careful of the Jinx scaling. Let's unless you have something else, let's take a look at one of the other lanes. Let's take a look at mid lane. Cassiopeia versus Akshan. This is an interesting one, and I gotta admit, I'm not too knowledgeable of Akshan and his matchups. I do think that yeah, so we're both a little bit on the dark on this one, but theoretically, I feel like it's gonna be. I'm trying to think about the ranges, right? Because a lot of Akshan's burst is from his E, right? His Q, pretty minimal damage in the early game, and he should be out-traded pure autos by Cassiopeia, especially once she gets the tier. She has some mana stacked up. So I would think that Akshan really needs to get a nice, juicy E, with PTA if he's running it, to win a trade against Cassiopeia. Besides that, he does have, roam potentials with his sneaky, and he does have a slightly better ganking jungler, I guess, with the Fiddlesticks. Has a little bit more CC than the Kayn does. And I'm curious how this lane is going to go, because we did see Ukiyo last game on a carry. And on that Victor, he played amazing. And I'm really excited to see his Cassiopeia, because watching a skilled Cassiopeia is amazing. Like, just watching the... it takes a lot of skill to press E. I'm envious. But I mean, memes aside, it's definitely not an easy champ at all. And getting the perfect kiting and the poison ticking, and overall, I think Akshan's going to be a little bit harder to pull off in these compositions. But if he gets a little bit of cheese, maybe they can make it happen. And of course, he scales really well into the mid game once he gets some items, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be a really exciting one. I think all of these lanes are going to be pretty closely contested here. Just a reminder, of course, Bedtime at 7 did take game number 1 there. They're up 1-0 in tonight's best of 3. So the side of Crossflow Blue, they need to come back here and take game number 2 to push us to that third and final game. But we've got some pretty nasty team fighting on both of these squads for our second game here. It's going to be an exciting one. You won't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. Game 2 starts right after this. welcome back, everybody. Game 2 starting now. As we mentioned a little bit earlier on, we have swapped sides here for this second game. Bedtime at 7, moving over to the red side. Crossflow blue on the blue, which makes perfect sense, I think. I don't know why they didn't start there. Weird champ. But yeah, we wizard. We have a pretty conservative start once again here from both of these teams, just setting up some defensive vision. How do you expect this early game to go? We might have some technical difficulties here, guys. We'll be informed as soon as Wizard is back with us, I believe. But gonna be flying solo for maybe a moment here.
You can't hear me?
Oh, you're back. I think he's back.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I had a little bit of mic trouble. Yeah, so taking a quick look at runes and summoner spells, we see Ghost TP on this Tom Kench, a little bit aggressive, not opting for the flash and instead going for the more, I would say, lane dominant pick of Ghost, right? Threatening to run this Ornn down if he missteps, sort of like a Darius would, everything else seems pretty typical.
Tom Kench, Darius, what's the difference?
Same thing, tank, no tank, whatever. We do see Ghost on the Cassiopeia as well, also very, very aggressive. And this is just, Tom Kench thinks he actually lost that trade. He lost the trade. Minions. Yeah, exactly. But he does get the grasp on the back. And we were talking a little bit behind the scenes. We are with 2 farming junglers, so it's going to be a bit of a snoozer early on, as both of these junglers try and get their camps going, rotations, and it's going to be less about ganking, more about farming up. We do see Kane's runes, most likely blue Kane, and I'm actually interested he didn't go first strike, which has a little bit of a cheese interaction with Kane, allowing him to get double orbs when he's in combat.
Really?
Yes, I saw a Chinese video. The Kane got form at like 7 minutes. It was disgusting. Like, could you imagine? You're in lane as an ADC. You're level like 4, and all of a sudden, blue Kane is running your ass down.
Dude. Okay. Well, hopefully that gets hot fixed soon. My goodness.
I would hope so, but they didn't. I don't think they fixed it this patch. So we're gonna have to wait and see. And I'm interested in this mid lane. It does look to be going in the auction's favor, just because of the PTA and the Q and the passive. So that, it's not surprising, especially Cassiopeia. You're playing for the mid game, especially when you don't have the tier quite yet. So, you're not going for lane dominance when you pick Cassiopeia, obviously. And if it plays anything similar to his Victor, we know that even if he loses lane, do not count him out.
Very true. Yeah, we have to remember that first game, Ukyo falling behind, but Boost maybe getting a little bit over-aggressive at a couple of different moments throughout the game, and Ukyo ended up with a last laugh, ended up hard carrying the team there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we do see pretty standard stuff, right? We see junglers going back to their side, just farming it up, getting the Scuttle Crab, back to farming. Nothing too out of the ordinary. 1 Scuttle Crab per person. He didn't even try and go for the second Scuttle Squid on the Kane. So he's just respecting, goes for his second spawn of Raptors. But the gank coming in.
That's flying in. There's a fear coming down onto Ukyo. He's in a lot of trouble now. One more auto attack will seal the deal, and there's the first blood. Ukyo using both summoners there. Like you just said, Wizard still goes down. First blood for the auction.
And that is really good for boost. Just gotta make sure you take the boost, pun intended. Do not get overconfident like last game, right? You are ahead, but it doesn't mean you're infallible. That being said, you come back to lane with Berserkers and refillable potion, Pink Ward. You're feeling good if you're boost. Meanwhile, just Amped Tome and a tier for Cassiopeia. Still going for the scaling build, so not, it's not the end of the world for you, right? You still have such a strong mid-lane game power spike. You don't need to buy boots, so you got that going for you, I guess.
Ukyo is not overly concerned. Read and Write maybe should be concerned here, but nope, he is going to be able to dive away abyssally. Ornn already committing the knock-up there, means there was no CC left to stop the Tom Kench from using the dive there, and he's able to get himself out very nicely.
If he had gotten the brittle auto attack off, he would have been dead. But
True.
It's just a fraction of a second too late. Like right as the W animation finished, he teleported. So
Got about the
unfortunate
proc.
for Ego. Yeah.
It was pretty close. But yeah,
Yeah.
read and write, able to get himself out. And it didn't even cost him a summoner.
You know, kind of interesting. We do see bot lane bedtime maybe giving a little bit too much respect to this Leona Jinx. But then again, you do have heal exhaust versus heal ignite, or exhaust ignite, sorry. So maybe you just don't win that sort of engage. I'm not, I don't, I mean, I play top lane, so I don't know a lot about how this bot lane fiestas work, to be honest. But I think they're probably waiting for level 6, I would say. You know, once you're level 6 with Rakan Misfortune, you have such a strong combo that maybe a gank?
Definitely. Yeah, they could just be waiting for jungler intervention as well. Yeah. But, like, you know, just talking about that bot lane, like, we were saying how Misfortune is probably the strongest early game champ out of the 4 down there. But, like, Leona into the Rakan actually is pretty advantage for the Leona.
Right.
Rakan's agreed to, okay, diving in. Nope, boost.
Oh.
Just a little bit of a cheeky couple shots there. Just kind of looks scary for a second, but no. Just a little look for a second there, but yeah, the Rakan's greatest weakness is hard CC, and Leona has that in spades, so I think it makes sense that they don't really want to fight too much. Read and write going in here with the Abyssal Dive. Orange charging away. And rejected one. Now forced to flash away from the battle dance from the Rakan. Koryas maybe in some trouble now. Going in with the Zen to play for the counter engage. He's able to get the kill onto the cave, but the petrifying gaze flashed away from it. Not enough. Death going in with the flash of his own. Gets the kill. Now Prey on the run. Underneath the tower, but he's down to 50% HP. He throws out the exhaust there onto Kanye. Ukyo now in some trouble, getting ignited, and he's taken out Boost, able to find the kill. Now Death running out of HP. He's a double kill for Boost on the auction. And he's able to revive his Leona as well there, I do believe. Very nice roam there from Boost. Ukyo was first, but Boost was the last.
Do not get me started on the Akshan revive. I will talk forever and ever. It's horrible. I hate it with a passion, but what are you gonna do? Akshan's big. 3-0. I'm actually a little interested. He decided to go for Triumph instead of Presence of Mind. Not a big deal, but we did see him going into a little bit of a mana issue at the end there. Unfortunately for him, the battle was over when he ran out of mana, but usually you see Presence of Mind, which, you know, refills your mana on takedown for them, not fulls, but 20%, something like that. So you do get a little bit of, you know, space to work with, I guess you would say. But maybe some action to the
coming for a play in the top lane here. 2v1 on to read and write. He's getting knocked up. Catfish in some trouble. Umble Trespass getting out some more damage. The Ornn has been devoured, but I don't think it's going to save him. He's almost able to get a kill back onto Squid. He's
no way!
It's lived, Wee Wizard. He's out of there.
TK. This chap is just disgusting in the laning phase.
Unkillable.
Oh my.
Unkillable catfish. This is the fish that just like eats your bait and you reel in your line and just like the entire end of the line is gone. Ukyo's in some trouble here. He is trying to get away from the life drain. He's underneath the tower.
Another
boost! He's away from the towers. He gets out of there. Oh, but Squid is looking for the kill. Auction has the grapple back off cooldown. He's trying to make his way out here, but Kane is pretty fast going through the jungle here, dashing in with the Q, and he is able to get the shutdown. That's a lot of gold going into Squid's pocket here. Remember how strong he was in the early game for the side of bedtime last game.
I'm just throwing back to last game where he tower dove Ukyo and gave away the shot. I was like, except he lived because of the shield. So I was like, okay, he just barely, but you know, Kane gets the shutdown, so it's not much better. But, you know, at the very least, it's not a complete remake of last game.
True.
But, you know, still 400 gold shutdown to Kane. It's not great.
Yeah, Fed Blue Kane is still pretty intense, as that is a nice solar flare and a beautiful follow-up Zenith Blade from Koyesh, but Misfortune, or Jinx was a little bit too far, and now Misfortune throwing out the bullet time. Takes Prey down below 50%, so a good engage from Koyesh, but just wasn't really, teammates weren't in position to follow up.
And you know, I think what you, I mean, it's pretty much exactly what you said earlier. Like the engage was there, but Jinx is just not the champion to abuse it or make use of. Like imagine if that was a Tristana or something. Like
Yeah.
that was easy double kill. Like beautiful engage from Koyesh, but you have to know your lane, right? Like Jinx just it just doesn't work that way. And it's not Prake's fault. It's just the way the lane works, right? Jinx just doesn't have the damage at this point in the game, especially going Cole, right? So you sacrifice a little bit of damage. But we see this with Herald.
This is an interesting situation here. We're going to have a 2v2 breaking up. The jungler for bedtime is not here. Don't know if it's going to matter, as Montoya is finding himself in a lot of trouble, and he is going to get taken out. Flashed in. Ukyo going for the Petrifying Gaze, but the Devourer is good from read and right. He's going to save his mid laner, and now Boost is looking for the kill. He will find it. Ukyo goes down for the 4th time this game. He is not having a repeat performance of game number 1. It's Boost coming out on top here in game number 2, and Crossbow are looking to tie us up here as they pick up neutrals and teamfight wins across the map.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that, I mean, Boost has had enough. You know, he heard us talking smack about him last game. He was like, no more. Ukyo's going down. Auction's coming out. Game time. I'm going to 1v9 this game. He is in a position to do it. Kraken Slayer completed. And he's 6-1 with a Rift Herald.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good. That is for sure.
And on the backside, Expo picks up the first dragon of the game. So that was a double whammy for them, picking up both objectives on the opposite sides of the map, picking up kills. They're excited for this game.
Boost just going to go ahead and drop that Herald right now. He only had a couple of minutes left on plate, so just want to go ahead and cash that one in. 3 turret plates, just another casual, about 500 gold for the auction here. Kane is roaming over there, wants to try and punish this, but look at this roam up from the Leona. Rejected one is here as well. It's a 3v3 bringing on mid lane. A nice charm from the Rakan. Great battle dance, but now it's going to be the Fiddlesticks going down first. Auction on the retreat. He's trying to peel. He's trying to get underneath his tower here, but Squid diving in. He's able to get a kill, but he trades himself for it. Now Kanye flashing over the wall, but Leona trying to chase him down. Some portal combat here in the bot side jungle, but Kanye will be able to escape. He had his mid laner to back him up. And it will be a 2-for-1 overall in favor of bedtime. A little bit over aggressive there. Ultimately, just a really nice roam up, I think, for the supports, both supports. Top laners.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're fine. They're just licking each other a little bit.
Just tank stuff, you know. A little bit of a slappy, licky.
Close fight in mid lane, though.
Yeah, and you know, Blue Cane acquired by Squid. Is it too late? I mean, it's not looking great. Some more meat fighting in the top side. Overall, it's not that bad, right? It is a 2.5k gold.
So compared to where we were
yeah.
at this point last game, we're closing in on the 15-minute mark. You know, we're about 1 minute away. And if I recall, in that last game, it was, I believe, the side of Crossflow that was winning the early game, right? And then it was the side of Bedtime came back very strong in the mid game, ended up closing it out very nice, right? So compared to where we are now, as we see as Blade go a little bit wide, Dive also not going to connect. Ukyo going to get some return damage out here. Squid also looking for a play here, is going to go in and find the kill, but he dived right into Leona's face, and Koryash is not going to allow that to transpire. And now it's going to be 2 more kills going over to Boost on the auction here. He is just getting absurdly fed.
Yep. And, auction is just one of those...
Bullet time coming out. Prey's running out of HP. One more double up, and death will give it to Prey. Now Rejected one flying in here with the Fiddlesticks Ultimate, the Crow Storm. He is going to be able to pick up that return kill onto the enemy marksman. So 1-for-1 in bot lane. And it's the side of Crossflow still managing to maintain this early lead.
Yeah, and, pretty nice 1v1 in the bot lane, but it's...
I was gonna...
Cassiopeia is scaling up, though. Does have the Leandra's Anguish. Ornn trying to get to that level 13 desperately. A little bit behind in XP, though, if you compare him to the Tom Kench.
Yeah, Montoya on the orange 2 games in a row, and he's had kind of a rough lane 2 games in a row. He's been getting bullied a little bit here by Reed and Wright, as Ukyo is in some trouble here. He is surrounded on all sides. He has nowhere to go, and it is going to be a kill for Reed and Wright here on the Tom Kench. I guess Cassio just up a little bit too far there with no vision. You don't have a tier 1 tower to go back to anymore, and he just got completely surrounded.
Yep, and especially with Boost having completed the Collector, he's very, very strong at the moment.
Fiddlesticks looking in here, trying to use the power of those effigies to clear out some enemy vision. But yeah, Wizard, I was going to ask you, compared to where we were at this point last game, how do you feel like the odds are for the side of Crossflow at this point? Because they were ahead in game number 1 as well, right? But they weren't able to hold on to it. So do you think they are set up better in this game number 2? Or are you still worried that the side of Bedtime have some good windows to come back here?
I mean, there's always a chance, right? There's a chance that X-Flow just completely, flops and throws the game away. But
try and get sidestep Boost expertly turns his back on that one more auto. Completely outplays Ukyo in the mid lane there. The story of mid lane has been completely flipped on its head here in game number 2. But now that Squid flying in there, he's going to get off the Umbral Trespass, and Boost knows he's dead. Tries to get out some damage, and is actually able to get a decent amount of return damage onto Kane, but it's not enough. He is shut down. So it will be a 1-for-1 in mid lane. But the Dragon, number 2, will go over to the side of Crossflow Blue. And it's going to be an Infernal Soul here for our second game of the night.
Yep, and as we were saying, that's always possible, right? We saw Boost, slightly, get a little bit aggressive onto the Cassiopeia and trade the shutdown gold over to Kane. So not the greatest of trades, but, you did get the Dragon, and, you are still very, very strong. So you just got to be really, really careful.
Nico Montoya kind of getting corralled by the catfish right now. Reed and Wright is trying to teach Montoya something right now. Rejected one coming in with the fear, and Leona flying in there with the CC. Gonna flash away from the solar flare is Inigo Montoya, but it will not come even close to saving his life as he does go down once again here for only the second time this game. He's able to give himself a Kyo going for the petrifying gaze, gets the stun onto the auction, and he is taken out. And the miasma follow-up was perfect for Ukyo, and he's able to pick himself a double kill. Maybe it's not too late. Ukyo looks like he might. Oh no! He walks right into a scarecrow. Oh, I'm sorry, Ukyo, as that's the rejected one going golden. He's able to get up more damage down. Oh, the tether, the drain, able to pick up the kill onto Kanye as well. And now Squid trying to swim away from this very spooky skeleton in the mid lane here. This scarecrow, excuse me, he's a scarecrow, not a skeleton. He's kind of skeleton-ish though.
Are they going for Baron? Oh, it's a Rift here. Okay, yeah, my bad. It's only 19 minutes in. I was like, there's no way you guys can do Baron without, Jinx and Akshan.
It'd be pretty ambitious, yeah, with Leona, Tom Kench, Fiddlesticks doing Baron. Yeah, I don't know about that one. But
yeah.
Rift Herald, they have a much better shot. Inigo Montoya and Squid are in the area, looking like they maybe want to contest, but no, Squid's just starting the recall. I think they're going to give this one up.
Yep. He could go for the steal, but honestly, it's really not worth it at this point. Plates are down. Mid turret's gone already. Top lane is basically gone. You can just let him have it. It's not the end of the world. Better than dying. Cassiopeia did pick up some decent gold there. Did get the double kill completed. Her Archangel Staff will be upgraded pretty soon. We did see, Cassiopeia is one of those champions that really has high DPS, even if you're a little bit behind. It may be a little bit weaker, but it's still, very, very high DPS if she can get the peel going.
Okay, Squid flying in here once again, trying to make this play happen onto Reed and Wright. Tom Kench is getting trespassed into by the Kane. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Fiddlesticks is going to get taken out. Tom Kench now flashing over the wall. Squid is still looking for him, but I don't know if he should be. This Tom Kench just escapes again and again.
Yeah, that being said, another shutdown onto Ukyo. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up. I mean, now he has a 150 gold bounty. I swear he was just like 0-4 or something. It's
a little bit of deja vu.
Ukyo just doesn't stand down. He's just always know, he's just always making these plays, getting himself leads out of nowhere. And he may, you know, be in a position.
There's the Shurelya's top. Kanye flying in there with the charm, trying to get that CC down. He's not going to be able to find it onto the Jinx, and it will be Kane who falls. Misfortune going for the bullet time, but Death will be the victim of it himself as he goes down. 2 kills going back over to Crossflow. A little bit of an over-aggressive dive there for Bedtime at 7. They end up giving over a couple kills. They're able to get that top lane tier 1, but I don't think that's really an even trade.
Yeah, and looks like they will be trying to go for this Baron. Are they gonna? Yeah, I'm curious if Bedtime are gonna be able to contest. Oh,
Kanye. He is able to get himself out of there. Gonna dodge right for the Death Rocket. And Ukyo, he's able to get the kill on to boost. The mid laner Death here. Cassio coming alive in the mid game. Looking for this kill onto Tom Kench now as well. Reading right down 50%. He's on the retreat. He's trying to get himself out of here. Kanye is gonna have the W back off cooldown. Wow. He's gonna go for it. No, he won't. Tom Kench will escape once again. He is really coming alive here. Boost though. I feel like we can fault him a little bit for that. I don't know why you're going so aggressive into the enemy jungle while your team is on Baron. Like, you should probably be hitting Baron. You're like one of the damage dealers on the team. I don't know why you're the one zoning behind the pit.
Yeah, and just like that, 500 golden objective bounties over to Bedtime, and now the gold is almost even. That 1k gold difference. That's nothing. That's pennies. And with this, so like, is it going to be the same thing as last time? 2 dragon lead for X-Flow, and then all of a sudden Bedtime just turns it around. The problem is they're going for Baron right now, and Bedtime doesn't have. They do have vision on it, actually, so they know.
They know that Rick Harrow just got dropped right next to Baron, so I'm thinking they should have some idea.
Have to know, right?
They are moving up towards the topside river now.
I mean, they can't even do it.
They
can't even do the Baron.
It's too slow. It's not even close. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is nuts. I mean, I don't know what's worse. Bedtime not even bothering to check when they were on vision, or X-Flow just not even being able to do the Baron. Oh, tragedy.
Team fight.
Or maybe maybe it was 2,000 IQ from Bedtime. They're like, we know they can't do the Baron, or something. I don't know.
Could have been just 2,000
maybe
IQ.
They knew.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot look at this. Ukyo has more items than Boost does. What happened? He has 3 items to 2.5.
Yeah, look at that 450 gold shutdown on the Cassio as well, as that is the Searing Charge from Montoya. Gonna go in there, and then Rakan with the follow-up is gonna get the charm onto a couple, but meanwhile, look at this rejected one is just annihilating Death in the back line. Misfortune couldn't do anything to help out in that fight. Prey will also go down to the tower there. So that is a little bit unfortunate. Not really quite sure how that happened. But it is 80 carry for 80 carry here. Top lane tier 1 did go down, so a little bit more money for Crossflow, but mostly even.
Yeah, 1 for 1. Not too bad. Cassio.
Ooh, there's the Petrifying Gaze. Actually didn't work for some reason. I'm not sure why that CC didn't come through. And Kane flies in there and gets the kill. Squid now looking for 2. Gonna get the Dark Harvest proc onto the Fiddlesticks. It's a double kill for Squid on the Kane. And it used a flash now. Ukyo trying to go with some fancy feet here. Trying to dance around this time, Kench, but he's going to get devoured. He's in some trouble here. One more lick. But no, the shielding from Rakan. Another shutdown for Squid on the Cassio. He's looking for 2. He's going to find it at 2 more shutdowns. 8 and 6 Ukyo. He is a very fed now. He's looking to carry 2 games in a row.
There's no way. There has to be no way this is happening.
It's not allowed. It's illegal, Wizard.
This is... Okay, I mean, today I learned Rakan zombie word generates from Fiddlesticks effigy. Okay, that's neat. The more you know, right? There's so many nice interactions and you always learn something new. But oh my gosh. I feel like a little fangirl right now just watching Ukyo play. I'm just like...
It's insane, yeah. It is really fun to watch him work. He is going for the Petrifying Gaze. Fiddlestick's going to go golden to try and avoid it, but another beautiful charm from Kanye here on the Rakan. He's not going to be able to follow up this time. There were too many members of Crossflow in the area, and it was only Rakan and Cassio trying to make that one happen. So they will just, it will be a defensive Rakan ult, and they will get themselves out of there.
Yep, and just taking a quick look at CS across the board. Bedtime pretty much have the advantage, right? Lanes are either even or in favor of bedtime. We see jungle, mid, and bot have a pretty, 30 CS across the board, 20 in the bot lane. So
Squid going for another kill here. Very deep invade for the Kane. And he is going to go for the Umbral Trespass, but he's all by himself. He's going to dash away, and the Zenith Blade will go just wide. And the forward got Inigo Montoya from downtown. Gets the snipe. And now the W is going to slow down read and write. Tom Kench slowly waddling underneath the tower there. Just clearing out the minion wave. Still a little bit over a minute on that 4th Dragon. 2nd Infernal of the game. It is going to be Akshan split pushing off on the top side. Boost able to get that tier 2 all to himself. That's going to be a lot more money for Akshan now. Kanye off on the flank. Has the quickness available. Once again, that's a charge in for the Ornn. Inigo Montoya wants to try and make a fight happen here, but he's taking a lot of damage. And they will be forced to back away here. Less than a minute on Dragon now. Akshan has been pushed back. Do you think the side of Crossflow are going to be able to contest for this Dragon here, WeWizard?
Oh, man. That's the question of the century, huh?
The gold lead is held by bedtime now.
Cassiopeia has a full item in the bank, by the way, when she comes back. She's just gonna buy a full item right here. Look, Leandris, there you go. Yeah. Boom.
She's so strong. Maxed out shutdown now for Ukyo. Maxed out shutdown.
And the Ornn upgrading. Once again, Leandris Lament. Ornn upgrade.
Insane.
And I just want to say that I think that it's... At least it was, right? It was the use of the Cassiopeia Miasma that was so critical in winning these fights. Now she has such a lead that maybe not even.
This is a strong push, but a nice petrifying gaze. Gonna get some CC down on 2. Bullet time over the top now. Zhonya is just in time for rejected 1, but it's not gonna save him. He does go down, and look at this collapse. And it was all set up by Ukyo. The petrifying gaze to start it off, and the rest of his teammates are in perfect position to knock it down. It's a clean 5-0. At bedtime are looking like they want to make their way into the final 4.
And I don't know, wasn't Boost like 11-2 at some point? I feel like at some point nothing seemed to happen from that point onward, and it was just Ukyo making play after play. Very unfortunate. I mean, shutdowns top, jungle mid. Baron's going to be taking Dragon. I mean, once again, you lose the first 2 Dragons as bedtime, but you're coming back. You're scaling. You got Ukyo 700 gold shutdown, another upgrade for Ornn onto the Kane. And, all of a sudden, we're looking like a repeat of last time. 700 gold bounty on Ukyo. He's almost full build. He's sitting on 1,800 gold. And I'm once again wondering, how does Expo win this? And it's not a hard question, right? They have a wombo combo, right?
They
of course,
still have strong team fighting. Yeah, they have 2
carries. Anytime you have Fiddlesticks, right? You have a fed Akshan. He still is fed, right? He has a lot of damage, a lot of gold. He's the richest person on his team by 4K gold, right? And they actually have the same gold. Interestingly enough, I guess that's just the boot diff. Ukyo doesn't have to buy boots, so has that much gold put into their items. That being said, though, have the Baron, you're pushing side lanes. It's tough, and just the presence of the Fiddlesticks sort of warps the game in your favor. But you are 5K gold behind, plus the 3 Ornn items.
Squid gonna find Fiddlesticks in the bush here. He's gonna get feared, but it's not gonna matter too much. He's gonna be safe for now. Remember, guys, that first game ended, I believe, just after 31 minutes. So, it seems like bedtime, they're on pace to actually make this, 2 clean 30-minute games in a row, potentially, if they win another big fight here with the Baron buff.
Oh my god, if Akshan dies here to Kane, this is so bad.
Oh, this is Kane's wet dream right now. Look at that. 80 carry versus blue Kane. That is exactly how that is supposed to go, as Koyash goes in here with the Zenith Blade, but again, the follow-up just isn't there. The quickness comes out, and the bullet time locks down that Leona. The charm connects onto Prey as well. Death finds 2, and look at this, the bot lane inhibitor is getting annihilated. It's just the entire map falling apart for Crossflow. All their members are dying all over the place. Fiddlesticks is forced to flash away. Death is charging forward. The inhibitors are dropping. The catfish is getting cooked. Ukyo is in there with the miasma underneath the tower. Fiddlesticks going in with the Crowstorm, but it doesn't mean a damn thing, Wee Wizard. It's all of the Crossflow Blue members going into the dirt, and it's bedtime at 7, making their way into the losers bracket final.
And Yukio did it again. I did it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I had doubt. I'm sorry. Forgive me, Yukio.
Wow.
But what a performance! Absolutely spectacular. I think undoubtedly, MVP of that game. First game, I would say toss up between Squid and Yukio, just based on, Squid did have some really, really nice early game, just making sure that the X-Flow initial lead didn't actually snowball that far. Just, held back just enough for them to reach their mid game, nice and strong. Overall, I would say that it was well played by both sides. Unfortunately for X-Flow, Bedtime just had the consistency, they had the playmaking, and they were able to sustain their leads into the mid game where their team comes, hit their power spikes. Born right where he reached, you could tell right when the items started to get upgraded, the fights were just not even close.
Yeah, the clan tag buff was just not enough, not quite enough here. And bedtime at 7, they clearly came into this match night with a game plan, right? Inigo Montoya, 2 games in a row on the Ornn. It wasn't flashy, he didn't have a great laning phase, but it was honest work up there. He did his job. He did what he needed to do. He was great in the fights. Squid, of course, had that great game 1 on the Nocturne. They forced the Nocturne ban for game 2 here. He's able to get his cane and able to get a lot of great solo kills in towards the mid and late game here. But I definitely think here, Wee Wizard, that Ukyo is going to edge out player of the series tonight. He really impressed me with being able to come back from those early deficits and really just hard carried in the late game. Like, that was really something to watch.
Yep, and the damage charts tell a pretty nice story, fairly straightforward. Obviously, Auction definitely up there, and maybe I don't even want to say that's necessarily Boost's fault, but just that the idea of Auction is you have this early lead and you close out the game and beat 30 minutes is probably too late for Auction, and if because that lead didn't actually translate to other lanes. If you see the goal of each individual lane, Auction was way ahead of everybody else. Wasn't even close.
Yeah.
If that gold had been distributed into maybe the Jinx, for example, maybe they could have scaled a little bit, right? Like Jinx, 2.5 items, not gonna be able to 1v9. You deal damage, but especially if you go shield well, which you kind of have to, right, against that team comp, you don't have the damage of Kraken. You don't have the team fight potential of Runon's Hurricane. And just overall, you're really struggling to make an impact in these fights. Fiddle had some good ultimates, but it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough synergy. Tom Kench fell off. Ornn just outscaled him, which is expected, right? And overall, It's just the games played exactly into how Bedtime wanted them to, and they were able to close it out quite handedly.
Yeah, just over 30 minutes, both of those wins. So a very nice, consistent performance here tonight from Bedtime at 7. They clearly have a way that they like to play the game, and they executed it quite well tonight for the most part. I think we're in agreement then that Ukyo gets player of the series, right?
And I would tend to agree.
Yeah, I think it makes pretty much perfect sense there. But that is pretty much all that not quite all that we had planned for tonight. It is all that we had planned for this stream. But guys, we are going to be going live, I believe, with the Plunge after this one. So do stay tuned for that. That is going to be going live here on the Style Esports LOL Twitch channel very shortly, just as soon as we wrap this one up. But from the caster desk here, this is going to be me, Chris Crewman, and Wee Wizard here. And from the entire production team over here at Style Esports, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, and have a great night. Take care. We'll see you next time.